Three, two, one. Hello, friends. Welcome to the David Ng Show. Today we're talking with Aarti Bartake, an artist from India specializing in the unique art form of abstract and semi-abstract art. She's exhibited in New York, London, Korea, and in India. Her art pieces are collected by museums, art galleries, and art lovers. Today she's going to share about her art and how newbies like me can appreciate art. Hello, Aarti.
Hi, David. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
So, first of all, I want to get straight into the art because I see a lot of your artwork is here.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe all this?
So this is a form of semi-abstracts that I just told you about.
Yeah.
And so I combine abstract and some form of realism. And because those who follow my works know that I love to paint abstracts and with a touch of realism in it, so that brings out the uniqueness of my style. And this is one of them, and this is a series that I'm recently doing. So this is the semi-abstract form that I'm talking about.
So let us go right to the very, very basic.
Mm-hmm.
Abstract art, what is it?
Abstract art is, it can be anything like shapes or colors or anything or an idea or the feelings that an artist might want to represent onto the canvas. So sometimes it may just invoke emotions and bring out what the artist wants to convey. And for appreciation, like I get this question a lot, like what do you want to say in this painting of yours? So, and I do oblige, I do tell them what is my thought process behind this painting. But not always a painting has to have a meaning. And sometimes I tell them that you have to enjoy the painting just for its beauty. Just enjoy the colors, just enjoy the shapes, or just enjoy what the artist has put in front of you. Because the colors attract you. Something about the painting calls out to you. It may remind you of something. So enjoy the beauty of the painting. Every time it is not necessary to delve into the technicalities of the painting or what is the meaning behind it. So yes, at times there is meaning, like some paintings come out as a part of what I may be feeling at a particular time. So that is different. And at that time, I do have a small paragraph written about what I'm feeling and what the story conveys. So abstract art is something which is very liberating for me because many times I leave it to the audience or to the onlooker to derive meaning from what he's looking at. So there's something very interesting that I'd like to share on this aspect. Picasso was once asked, what is the meaning of your paintings? Because he was a lot into this kind of paintings. So he said, and his answer struck a chord with me. So he said that, do you ever understand what birds are talking to each other? No. But even then we listen. Why? Because we like to listen to it. So sometimes, not every time we understand what is going on in front of you, but we may just like it for what it is. So the beauty sometimes, or the feelings sometimes, or what it may remind you of something sometimes.
Okay. I have to stress, I'm an art newbie.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the colors, a lot of feelings and these structures and all that, I can understand. But when I come across a picture, I look at a picture, I see that. I look at this picture and I see lilies, I see water. To me, it looks like semi-abstract. To me, it looks like a picture of a lake.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So which part of this would be described as the abstract?
Okay, so here the lilies, as you can make out, it is very, very clear that it is not an abstract. It is somewhat close to realism. But the part which is around it is abstract because there is no basic shape or any defining lines or structures which tell you that it is water other than the colors which is around it, because it is blue and it is around the lilies. It is part of being water. And this is from, I got inspired to make this from a recent picture of mine that I took in at India House when I had gone to see an exhibition there of a dear friend. So this some frangipanis were floating on the in the swimming pool, and that is what led me to imagine this and make it at that time. So
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, this was after that.
Okay.
And the latest series that I'm doing is also inspired by photographs that I clicked in Laos and in Luang Prabang. And Luang Prabang, the land seems to be very favorable to water lilies over there. Everywhere you see small little ponds with a lot of water lilies. So I clicked a lot of pictures. So henceforth, I think some of the series which is about to come out, you will find water lilies in them. In
Okay.
those.
Wow. I'm seriously out of my depth here. But what I had my understanding of abstract art from another artist is just to look at that art, look at that piece. For example, looking at that and just staring at it until you derive some kind of meaning for yourself and interpretation. Yeah. So when you do that, how do you come about creating this structure?
It is not planned. When I start to paint, I just have a certain idea in my mind and I just start painting. And slowly, as I start putting colors onto the canvas, the whole thing pans out right in front of me. So at times I may spend about 3 to 4 hours also on one painting at one go without getting up. So because in this process, I don't want to leave it somewhere middle because that breaks the thinking that I'm having behind the painting. So yeah, so once I start painting, then the whole painting slowly starts to pan out. And these paintings, like these abstracts, I do in layers. So there are layers of painting. So when I start, it is the original priming of the canvas. Then I do texturing over on top of the canvas, which gives it some interesting character. It's not very smooth. So you will find that there are a lot of, there's this texture on it.
Yeah.
So that gives it an interesting character. Yeah.
So it's painted on canvas.
Yeah, they are all on canvas. I do some stuff on paper too, but it's mostly portraits and sketches like that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So Aarti, tell us about your art story. How did you get into art itself?
So I was born in the culturally vibrant city of Pune in Maharashtra, that's in India. So to my parents, my father, who is an Indian Air Force officer, he's a medic, now retired. And my mom, who is a very, very creative, talented person, she was a seamstress and she's very creative. So I have the creative genes from them. So as a kid, also I used to paint and draw as all kids do, but I was encouraged a lot. And when I grew up, I did interior designing with honors from SNDT College, and I topped it with a diploma in graphics, animation, and multimedia. So although I am not an art student as such, I don't have formal art education or a formal art degree, but I can say proudly that I'm self-taught, and whatever you see is part of hard work that I have been at for the past few years.
Right. Did you have a mentor?
Not really, but I would like to say that I did some few sessions at my art space under Mr. Chan Kirk, and there was another person there, Lay Matt, and the instructors there basically, and so they helped me out while I was initially into this. So Mr. Chankirk, I would like to say, yeah, I would like to think of him as a mentor. Yeah.
Right. So is there a particular hero or some famous artist that you look up to that you try to learn from?
There are quite a few, but Mondrian, I like Mondrian, and I like Mark Rothko, and I like a few contemporary artists like Mr. Simon V. I don't know.
Mark Rothko. This is he used to be a lorry, a truck driver. Is that correct? He used to be a truck driver who became an artist late in life. And he
something like
draw
that.
these massive square rectangular shapes of
Yeah,
red.
yeah. So that's why. So all these, if you have seen my Harlequin works, so they are a combination of both of these people. So Mark Rothko and the Mondrian.
Yeah.
So, and I use vibrant colors, bright primary colors, which make them very attractive. And I use black bold lines and intermittent white spaces. So yeah, I started painting about 6 years ago. And how I got into painting is also interesting because I got married and I came here, and after good 15 years, after a break of 15 years, I started back because once in the afternoon I was having a conversation with my husband about not having regrets as we grow old, about not having done anything.
Right.
So that struck a chord, and then I looked back and I picked up my pencil that very afternoon. I drew a sketch of Buddha, just to get back, and I put it onto social media for fun. And the kind of response that got really encouraged me to do even more and more. And from there, I graduated onto painting, and I haven't looked back since.
Right, so it's never too late to start art.
Yes, never too late. And like anybody can cook from ratatouille, I think anybody can paint. Yeah.
Anybody can cook. Not anybody can paint.
No, I think it's really not that difficult. You just have to take up the brush and paint and canvas, and there are no rules of right or wrong in art.
Yeah.
So it is all about how you feel when you're painting, and they say art is therapeutic.
I believe
it is true. It's
your
really
art
true.
looks good.
Thank you so much.
some if I was to pick it up, to say myself, if I was to pick it up, it would look a little bit primitive.
Yeah, maybe in the initial stages it might be so, but if you keep at it, there is no stopping. Yeah, you will get it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good words. I hope so.
No. Yeah.
Actually, taking photographs is easier. You just take the camera and click.
No, I don't think that's easier. Maybe for you because you're into that. But recently, I have also jumped into that, and I find that interesting too. But I think composition and the angle and the editing later, that is what makes your photograph different than what others do.
Yeah. People are going to hate me for saying this, but 50% of it is equipment.
Yes, that's so true.
That's right.
That's so true.
You can get anybody. Anybody can buy the most expensive, best camera, the most beautiful lenses. Straight away, you've got an advantage.
Correct, yes.
But I better say that, the cameraman has some skill.
Yes, because cameras don't take good pictures. People do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay. So your art is abstract art and semi-abstract.
So if you say what is my style kinds, then presently I'm into semi-abstracts. That's the series that I'm doing right now. But I have had phases which I keep jumping on from one to another. I do love to paint realism also, still life. And I have done quite a few of that too. Initially, I was doing a lot of portraits and landscapes. So, but...
Which is more difficult, realism or abstract?
No, I will say both have their stages of difficulty, because for portraits, if you ask me, portraits and realism, the point is to make that thing or the person look just like what he is.
Yeah.
So therein lies the skill of the artist. In abstracts, because it is something which is coming from the artist itself, it may be from his imagination, or it may be from some reference point, or from some inspiration. So that's something totally original. That's something that he's thinking of and putting, and there is nothing like that available in the market. And so there's no other piece for still life, like apples. There may be a row of apples, so the skill is in how good you are at making it look like a real apple.
Right.
So there is, for me personally, I don't think there is much of a brains involved in that, because it's more of skill. But when you're painting abstracts, you're really thinking, and it's very freeing, it's very liberating, because you're not confined, but at the same time you're trying to put across something. So, and art is not what you see, but what you make others see, is a very famous quote by Edgar Degas. So I believe that in that too. Yeah.
So you get a painting like this, right? And there's more paintings behind me as well.
Mm-hmm.
You create a picture, and then how do you know it's done?
That thing, it gives a ring into your mind, or into your heart and your brain, and that you know that it is done. And sometimes you may just take a sitting or two to make a painting, and it is done. Sometimes you may just struggle with it for hours, for days, for weeks together, and it may still not be done.
Right.
So as an artist, I think the person knows when a painting is done, and because it has to give that sense of completion, or what that artist is trying to convey. So once that is done, I think the artist knows.
How many commissions have you done? Or how many paintings have you done?
Paintings, I think I've done more than 200, 250. Because on an average, I think I've been painting about 50 paintings a year. So I think it must be close to 250 to 300 paintings, yeah.
50 years, so about. How long does it take for one? Or do you have multiple paintings going on at the same time?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I have smaller paintings which take less up time. So bigger ones take up more time, or portraits take up more time. So it really depends. Yeah,
right.
So yeah.
So what do you do with so many paintings? Are they sold on?
Yeah, so I do have my website.
Right.
It's called artibartake.com. And so I do sell my paintings on my...
spell that.
Okay, so it is AARTIBARTAKE.com. And you can Google my name also. I am listed with most of the prominent galleries, online galleries. And so I have my work spread across quite a few galleries, so you can check them out.
Right. Preferred size of painting?
I don't like to do very small paintings, but something which is like about 3 feet by 2 feet. That goes, and that sells well.
Yeah. How much is one?
So it depends again what kind of a work it is. So it can be anywhere between say about $500 US to about $2,000.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's quite affordable.
Yeah. Mine is right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you value art?
You mean how
How does the art world value art? Because you're selling it for maybe $2,000, right?
Oh,
but then
yeah,
somebody comes along, does a couple of lines.
I know.
And
Yeah.
it's suddenly worth the banana.
Yes.
Stuck in the wall. $200,000.
That's interesting,
How
right?
do you do it?
I don't know, and I don't wish to comment on those kinds of arts, because in their own sense they're all doing art. But
Is that called kitsch?
see, it really depends on the artist. Sometimes the artist is no more, and then because the paintings are numbered and limited, so then the demand goes up. Sometimes it may be just a marketing circle done by curators or art galleries. So it depends. So if you ask me what is art, art is something that you do, and to basically it garners some emotional response from the person. and paint. So as we talked about photography, art is not just limited to painting or photography, but art can also be as a performing arts. We have people who are doing great makeup. So we have art and makeup, people with great culinary skills, and they have beautiful fine dining plates decorated so nicely.
Gordon
You don't
Ramsay
feel like
style.
eating. Yeah. So, yeah. So art is everywhere, and I think art is meant to bring out beauty, but it can also sometimes be because the artist is wanting to say something, so it can be also a case where it's a display of despair or ugliness, or so it really depends on what kind of art it is. For me, for my artworks, I basically use all vibrant colors, so they are all very positive, and since they are all nature inspired,
Yep.
so you feel nice looking at them.
Yeah, I would use a technical term. Happy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's
Yeah,
what
makes-
I get
makes
a
you feel
lot.
good.
Yes. Yeah, it gives a feel good feeling. Yes.
So of all your 50 a year that you do,
Mm-hmm.
what would be your favorite art that you've ever done?
My favorite art is a portrait that I did of a Indian guru for a very special person, and I have not been able to put that up on my social media because of a special request from that person not to put it up. But that portrait, it's a life-size portrait of a guru, and that came out really well. And it's in monochrome, and I just use black and white in that, and grays, lot of grays. That painting looks so beautiful, and it when I made it, it really spoke to me also. Even when the lights are out, and I used to come out of my bedroom, and that painting was on my easel. There was something very attractive about that painting. It was as if there was some light coming from inside the painting. So that one, I think, will have to be my
So
favorite
that
out of
one's
the most.
no longer here.
No, it's
Shipped
not. It
over.
is with the person. Yes, it's in his living room. It looks wonderful there.
Right.
Yeah,
Good stuff. Do you got a photograph of it?
I do have, and I will show it to
You
you.
can see it later.
Yeah.
Okay, that's excellent.
Yeah. So, David, since you are a newbie, I would just like to take you through the creative art process. And so, this is the size of this canvas is 3 feet by 2 feet. And this painting, if you see, is a semi-abstract again. And I did this recently. So, you see that there is a lot of abstract work here, a lot of texture, and water lily, one which is already withered away, and you see that there is this lily pads. You can just make out that there is a lily pad here and here. So it is not a complete lily pad that I have done, because it is merging into the abstract background. So this is what I like. So it is loose, and at the same time it is giving a very clear picture of what I want to project. So this is again from one of my clicks in Luang Prabang in Laos, and people are really liking it. I hope it gets a home soon. So this is what I do. This is the latest series that I'm working on. Yeah.
But first, have you ever thought of living in the hottest district in the city? In Bugis, look no further than the M at Middle Road. Launching soon, it's potentially starting from $9,000. That's less than $1 million. And it's subject to developers' confirmation. This opportunity doesn't come around often. Did you miss the boat last time? Don't miss it this time. Give me a call, David 9668-1224, to catch this amazing launch. Do you know, Aarti?
Mm-hmm.
Pricing of art. I may not understand art as an art.
Okay.
But the really interesting thing to me is that the art itself has value.
Mm-hmm.
And to some people, the value is very different. Sometimes that's $1 million. Sometimes it's $2.50.
Yeah.
So I looked at some of your art. Seems underpriced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. So if you say that, I think you should get one soon before the prices go up.
Actually, quite affordable to get it done.
Yeah.
And your time alone to do it.
Mm-hmm. So pricing of art is it's a very debatable issue, and it really depends on the artist and how young or how old that person is in the field of art, what kind of work that the person is doing, and how people are what kind of a demand there is for that person's art. So I want to keep my art affordable so that it goes into maximum people's homes, and people can enjoy, and it is not only limited to people who can really buy very expensive art
Nothing
pieces.
wrong with that, of course. Well, you make
Mhm.
fewer art and put it online and sell it really expensive.
No, I like to paint.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about painting, so I paint a lot, and I would like maximum of my artworks to go out into people's homes. And some time back, one of my artist friends, she remarked, and it made me smile. Do you know the goddess Durga, India? So she's a goddess who's got many hands.
Mm.
So because I paint a lot, I'm a prolific painter. This person said, sometimes I feel you are Durga painting with all of your hands together. So I don't know why, but because I like to do this, and I paint a lot, and that is why I would like to keep my artworks affordable.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to ask you that.
Mm-hmm.
There's an adage that painters are poor, that they cannot make a living out of art.
Oh
Right.
yes,
Is that true?
there are because
Does that follow the 80-20 rule or 90-10?
yes, more or less 70
99?
30 60 40. Yes, it can depend, but I'm exploring the online option more.
Yeah.
And I believe it is doing well for me. So I am also exhibiting with a lot of art galleries online, and I don't mind paying them the commission, because the commission is only once per sale.
Point sale.
Yeah, and not for exhibiting there.
So that's the art galleries, right? Are there
Mhm.
agents involved? Are there middlemen?
Yes, there are middlemen and agents involved too, and they also do take a commission, and they have to. It's their, it's what they do, and sometimes it does help the artist to get his work, her work out into the
Right.
big world. Yeah.
So let's say let's take a hypothetical $10,000 painting, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's demand for somebody wants to buy it. So how much of that eventually goes to the artist?
It can depend. If the artist is a newcomer, then maybe not a lot. And if the artist is well established, then maybe he can negotiate. They can negotiate the terms, and
How
then.
much is that? How much?
So it may be sometimes about 60-40 also. Yeah.
60-40.
Mm-hmm.
60 to who?
60 to the artist, 40 to the agent, and
Right.
it might be the opposite way around when the artist is emerging, upcoming. Yeah.
Right. So do you have an agent representing you now?
No, I do not have any agents representing me, and what I said just now is what I have read about, so I may not be exactly correct also. So because I haven't had experience myself with an agent, I am a one-man army. I'm doing all my stuff myself, and I paint. I do all the updating of all my artworks onto the various gallery, then also onto the Facebook and Twitter and all the social media. So it takes up quite some time, and it is frustrating at times because you want to paint, but you also have to do this in order for your work to be out there for people to see.
Yeah. So there's
Yeah.
a business part of the whole.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Well, if you manage to find an agent, a killer agent who is well connected
Mm-hmm.
internationally, maybe an international agent,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe they could help you push
Yeah,
it into the market.
it will be really nice if I can get in touch with a person who can put my work out there, and get people to see my work, because I love what I'm doing and I get really good responses from people. So
Right.
it is just a matter of putting it out there more for more people to see. So, and then when people are looking at it and they buy, I don't mind, parting with percentage for the agent because
Of
that's
course.
what he is doing.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine if you manage to get a top agent and he puts you into the galleries, gets you a really top seller, and your artwork per piece ends up like 10,000, 20,000, 100,000
Who wouldn't
each.
like that?
And everybody who's
Yeah.
bought your painting already, they bought it for $500.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
2,000.
But
Suddenly,
yes, suddenly the value
it
goes up.
becomes an investment.
Yes, it does. So yeah, at some point of time, yes, I am going there. So let's see.
Well, that'd be very exciting.
Yes.
So currently, you're doing too many things.
Yeah, but it's something that I like and I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But if you're doing all the business, the hard slog business part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then your art, would it be suffering as well?
No, that will not suffer because that is something that I'm very passionate about, and I will give my complete self when
Yeah.
I'm doing that.
We
So
have 24 hours. So 24 hours, the business, art, business, sleep.
yeah, so you have to plan very carefully. So I that's what I've done. So I do plan. I have a timetable, and accordingly I dedicate my time to various things that I
Right.
need to be done.
So currently, how many paintings are you engaged in?
Currently, 2 that I'm doing. So one is almost ready. The other I've just started working upon.
Right.
Yeah.
And how did they find you?
The commissions you're saying?
Yeah, people who want you to, commission.
Yeah, so that comes across mostly from social media and from the galleries. And nowadays, people are finding me through Google. So just recently, I had a sale from my own website through Google. So I asked them, "How did you find me?" So he found me through Google.
Right.
So
Is
yay, Google.
in Singapore or from?
No, from US. Most of my stuff
USA.
goes to US and UK and Australia.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So there.
Yeah.
So I can imagine you send it to USA. Well, you got to increase the price.
No, I don't. My price is
You gotta it's got to be worth 20,000.
no. I keep the price the same across
Right.
all the galleries, and you have to be consistent. So
Yeah,
because
consistently making everything 20,000. How did they find you? First, they found you from Google, right? But
yeah,
Did you ask them why they chose you?
he obviously was looking for some frangipani painting, so he googled the word and then he googled artworks, and that is how he found my website, and he really liked that painting, and it's on its way to him as we speak, so it should reach, I think, in a couple of days.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How do you send an artwork 3 feet by 2 feet?
3 feet by 2 feet.
How do you send it via DHL?
Yes, so I use generally DHL or FedEx or USPS, and
And you have to wrap it, protect it, bubble wrap it.
oh yes, you have to take care of taking the painting down from the frame and then wrapping it up and putting protective paper and then plastics and bubble wrap.
You send it like this. with
So,
a
yeah.
wooden frame plus the canvas plus.
No, at times because shipping is it's very expensive from Singapore, so at times I take it down from the frame and I roll it and I put it in a dent resistant postal tube, and then I send it, and then the person who receives the painting, he gets it stretched,
Right.
so it saves them the shipping cost, because there is a world of a difference between sending it in a postal tube and sending it on the frame, especially to countries like US, UK, Australia. Yeah.
Have you ever had any damage in transit?
Not yet. I really hope not. So I make sure that I pack my paintings up very well.
Right.
Yeah. So the first painting that I sold was in 2014, and that was the first time I had put my paintings on an online art gallery, and it was one of the first 10 that I had put up, and within, I think, a week of putting it up, somebody contacted me and he said he would like to buy that painting, and I was like, is this a scam? So I wrote to
Pay
that.
you in Bitcoin.
Yeah, so I wrote to that person and I said, why do you want this
Yeah.
painting? How did you find it?
Yep.
And this and that. So he said, I want you to ship it on frame. And that was the first time I was shipping a painting also. So I found out that shipping itself was about $200, close to $200.
Right.
And the first painting that I sold was about 500, 600 US dollars.
So the people who make money are the logistics people.
Yeah, so I was like, this person is never going to say yes when he finds out that on shipping I mean on frame shipping is $200.
Yeah.
So when I wrote back to him, I said I just gave up. I said he's not going to buy this painting, but he wrote back to me saying that yes, okay, you please ship it to me, I'm buying it. So I did that, and that was which gave a real boost to me.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Only $700. $700.
Hmm.
Nowadays it's probably worth $70,000.
I hope so. Yeah. Let's see.
Wow. So when you roll it and you put it into the torpedo tube, right?
The postal tube. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any possibility of the paint cracking?
No,
Flaking
because
off?
no, it doesn't happen because I use only the best paints available on the market, and these paints that I use, they don't crack up at all.
Right.
So there is no question of it cracking. I can say that 100%. Some paintings which might have some different kind of a technique used and very heavy kind of a texture applied, maybe that might crack, but I haven't had any experience as yet. Nothing
Right.
like that. Yeah. Because good quality paint doesn't crack. It'll mold very nicely when you roll the painting around it.
Right.
So the key lies in what kind of a paint that you're using.
And this kind of painting, if you leave it in Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
humidity is about 92%. Is
Yeah.
there any damage to the paint, any aging or any mold?
So I do a protective covering, finishing of varnishing, 2 to 3 layers of varnishing the painting, which gives it a nice protective layering from UV rays also, from dust also, and from humidity also. And time to time, I will take them out, I will dust them, and I will see if everything is okay, give them a varnishing coat, and then pack them up and keep them again. So, and recently I've also started putting them in a storage unit capacity. So there, the air con is there all the time. So there the paintings stay well.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Aarti, well, I want to ask you some rapid fire questions before we wrap up.
Okay.
Dead
Okay.
easy. This one's good.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
First thing in your mind. Name.
Aarti Bartake.
Height.
Height is 5'4".
Weight. Shoe size.
It's 6.5.
Your favorite color.
Favorite color is orange.
Favorite food.
Indo-Chinese.
Favorite movie.
Favorite movie will have to be Ben-Hur.
Okay. Old one.
Mm.
Favorite actor.
Favorite actor, I think Gene Kelly, Charlton Heston.
Oh, really old school.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite artist.
Favorite artist, I think it's going to be Mondrian. Yeah.
Who?
Mondrian.
What's so special?
MON. I like the use of primary colors that he makes, and it's something very, very stark and very bold, and I like how his paintings talk to me, how they attract me.
Is he an abstract artist?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
something to Google.
Yeah.
Favorite hair salon?
Hair quarters in Woodlands.
Woodlands.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Aarti.
Thank you so much for having
I
me.
learned something
Yeah.
about it.
Okay, I hope so. Yeah.
Still a newbie, still
Mhm.
heavily a newbie, but I'm a little bit, one step above.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
One step out of 10,000.
No, it's really no rocket science. And as I told you that if you really like to paint, sometimes you should just pick up a brush and start painting.
Yeah, it'd be easy if I just commissioned you to get one. think
Sure,
go
I'd
up in
love to do
price.
that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.